Koko's Leafy Adventure. And now, attention. A riddle. I'm a fuzzy Australian friend. In trees, most of my time I spend. My diet's quite picky, you see. I munch on just one type of tree. What leaf do I love to chew? Maybe oak, or maple, or eucalyptus. You will find out the correct answer at the end of the story. High up in the branches of a tall eucalyptus tree, nestled in the heart of an Australian forest, lived a young koala named Koko. Koko was a curious little fellow with soft gray fur, a big black nose, and fluffy ears that wiggled when he was excited. Like all koalas, Koko loved to eat eucalyptus leaves. But unlike his family and friends, Koko always wondered if there might be more to life than munching on the same old leaves day after day. One sunny morning, as Koko was nibbling on his breakfast, he noticed a colorful parrot named Polly perched on a nearby branch. Polly's feathers were a dazzling mix of red, blue, and green, and she seemed to sparkle in the sunlight. "Good morning," Koko Polly chirped cheerfully. "Enjoying your breakfast?" Koko nodded slowly, his mouth full of leaves. He swallowed and replied, "Yes, I suppose so. It's the same as always." Polly cocked her head to one side. "The same as always? Don't you ever try different types of eucalyptus leaves?" Koko's eyes widened in surprise. "Different types? I didn't know there were different types." Polly laughed, her bright feathers ruffling in the breeze. "Oh, Koko, there are hundreds of different eucalyptus trees, each with its own unique leaves. Some are spicy, some are sweet, and some even have a minty flavor." Koko's curiosity was piqued. He had never considered that there might be more to eucalyptus than what he'd always known. "Really? That sounds amazing, but I'm not sure if I should try them. What if I don't like them?" Polly hopped closer to Koko and gave him a gentle nudge with her wing. "Koko, my friend, life is all about trying new things. You'll never know what you might like if you don't give it a chance. Tell you what, why don't we go on a little adventure to find some different eucalyptus leaves for you to try?" Koko felt a mix of excitement and nervousness flutter in his tummy. He had never left his home tree before, but the idea of discovering new flavors was tempting. After a moment of hesitation, he nodded. "Okay, Polly, let's do it." With a happy squawk, Polly took to the air. "Follow me, Koko. I know just where to start our leafy adventure." Koko carefully climbed down from his branch and began following Polly through the forest. As they traveled, Koko marveled at the sights and sounds around him. He had never realized how big and beautiful the world was beyond his own tree. Their first stop was a eucalyptus tree with long, slender leaves that looked quite different from what Koko was used to. Polly plucked a leaf and handed it to Koko. "This is a lemon-scented gum tree. Give it a try." Koko sniffed the leaf cautiously. It did smell citrusy and fresh. He took a small bite and his eyes lit up. "Wow, it's tangy and zingy. I've never tasted anything like it before." Encouraged by this success, Koko and Polly continued their journey. They visited a peppermint eucalyptus tree, where Koko discovered leaves that left a cool, minty sensation in his mouth. They found a tree with round, silvery leaves that had a slightly spicy flavor. Each new taste was an exciting discovery for Koko. As they explored, they encountered other forest animals who were curious about what Koko and Polly were doing. A kangaroo named Joey bounced over to them, his long ears twitching with interest. "G'day, mates," Joey greeted them. "What's all this leaf-tasting business about?" Koko, who was normally shy around strangers, found himself excitedly explaining their adventure. "We're trying different types of eucalyptus leaves." Did you know there are so many flavors? It's amazing. Joey chuckled. Well, I'm more of a grass man myself, but good on ya for branching out. He paused, then added with a wink, pun intended. As the day went on, word spread through the forest about Koko's adventure. A wise old wombat named Walter waddled up to offer his thoughts. It's good to see a young koala expanding his horizons, Walter said, with a nod. Trying new things helps us grow and learn about ourselves and the world around us. Koko beamed with pride. He was beginning to realize that this adventure was about more than just new flavors. It was about discovering the joy of new experiences. As the sun began to set, Polly suggested they head back to Koko's home tree. On the way, they passed by a eucalyptus tree that Koko had never seen before. Its leaves were a deep, rich green and had a unique shape. "What's this one?" Koko asked, his curiosity still strong despite the long day of exploration. Polly smiled. "That's a red flowering gum. Why don't you give it a try?" Koko reached for a leaf and took a bite. Immediately, his face scrunched up and he quickly spat it out. Yuck, that's so bitter. For a moment, Koko felt disappointed. He had enjoyed everything else he'd tried. What if this bad experience ruined the whole adventure? But then he saw Polly and all his new friends looking at him with encouraging smiles. Joey the kangaroo spoke up, "Hey mate, not everything's gonna be a winner. The important thing is you gave it a go." Walter the wombat nodded sagely. Indeed, life is full of ups and downs. The trick is to appreciate the good experiences and learn from the not-so-good ones. Koko thought about this for a moment, then smiled. "You're right. Even though I didn't like this leaf, I'm glad I tried it. Now I know what I do and don't like, and that's valuable too." As they finally arrived back at Koko's home tree, the young koala felt tired but happy. He had tasted new flavors, made new friends, and learned important lessons about trying new things. Koko's family was waiting for him, looking worried. His mother rushed to hug him. "Koko, where have you been all day? We were so concerned." Koko hugged his mother back and then excitedly began to tell his family about his adventure. He described all the different leaves he had tasted and the animals he had met. His family listened in amazement. "I'm sorry I worried you," Koko said. "But I've learned so much today. Did you know there are eucalyptus leaves that taste like lemon? And peppermint? And even some that are spicy?" His father chuckled. "Well, I'll be. Sounds like you've had quite the adventure, son." Koko nodded enthusiastically. "I have, and I've learned that trying new things can be a little scary at first, but it's also exciting and fun. Sometimes you might not like what you try, but that's okay too. It's all part of the experience." Polly, who had been watching the reunion from a nearby branch, spoke up. "Koko has been very brave today. He stepped out of his comfort zone and embraced new experiences. You should be very proud of him." Koko's parents looked at each other and smiled. His mother said, "We are proud of you, Koko. It takes courage to try new things and wisdom to learn from every experience, even the ones you don't enjoy." As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Koko settled into his favorite sleeping spot. He felt different, somehow more confident and excited about the world around him. He knew that from now on, he would approach life with an open mind and a willingness to try new things. Just before he drifted off to sleep, Koko heard Polly's voice from a nearby tree. "Good night, Koko. Sweet dreams, and remember, every day is a new adventure if you're brave enough to try new things." Koko smiled and closed his eyes, already dreaming of what new experiences tomorrow might bring. The end. And now the correct answer to the riddle. The correct answer is eucalyptus. Koalas are famous for their very specialized diet. They almost exclusively eat eucalyptus leaves, which is quite unusual in the animal kingdom. Here are some interesting facts about koalas and their eating habits. Diet. Koalas get almost all of their nutrition and moisture from eucalyptus leaves. They eat about 200 to 500 grams of leaves per day. Adaptation. Koalas have special digestive systems that can break down the tough eucalyptus leaves, which are actually poisonous to most animals. Sleep. Because eucalyptus leaves don't provide much energy, koalas sleep for up to 20 hours a day to conserve energy. Picky eaters. While there are over 600 types of eucalyptus trees, koalas typically only eat leaves from 30 to 50 varieties. Baby koalas. Young koalas called joeys start eating eucalyptus leaves when they're about 6 to 7 months old, but they also eat a substance called pap produced by their mother to help them digest the leaves. Habitat. Koalas are found in the eucalyptus forests of eastern Australia, including Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, and South Australia. This diet makes koalas very vulnerable to habitat loss, as they rely so heavily on these specific trees. Conservation efforts often focus on protecting eucalyptus forests to help preserve koala populations.